I love how you mentioned in the book like how like the tightrope of like the F word and then your black sheep values and then F word being your feelings and how you have to
Yes.
like it's constantly like a tug of war and like a nice
Yeah.
balance between the two. I was like that
Yeah,
really interesting.
that's so the way that I try to, think through it in my head anyways
Mhm.
is there's we spend every day of our lives in the middle of a tug of war between our values and our feelings, right? And they pull us back and forth. And the context that I try to provide when I'm thinking about that is sort of on the values side is the past, in the feeling side it's the future, and in the middle it's the present, right? It's where we are
Okay.
today. And so what I have found is that you know when we are sort of anxious because we can't predict the future, and our
Mhm.
feelings get all sort of swirled up because we're nervous or concerned about something that could happen, our black sheep ground us, they hold us, right, so that we don't get sucked into the future where anxiety lives. They actually dig their heels in and say, we're gonna stay here so that you can stay in the present. And that is incredibly important, because the only decisions we can make are in the present. You can't go backwards and make a decision, remake a decision from the past, and you can't transport yourself to the future and make your decision there. So the only thing that you can do is make a decision in the present. And when you understand that that's the case, it really helps. For me, it's a barometer to know where my head is at, right? Where's my mind at? If I'm feeling depressed, chances are I'm dwelling on something from the past. If I feel anxious, chances are I'm worried about something that hasn't happened yet, right? So if I'm not
Oh,
anxious and I am not depressed, then I must be in the present. As long as I'm in the present, that's the only place I can affect change in my life. And so that is sort of in my head how I manage my feelings, is basically trying to ask myself, what am I feeling right now? And if I'm feeling upset, I know that I'm way back in the past. And if I'm feeling incredibly nervous, then I know that I am more than likely projecting something that hasn't happened yet. And so that to me is just like a daily gut check of where I am and what's happening, to be able to control sort of my emotions in the moment.
wow. Yeah. I love
That's
that.
Lao Tzu. That's a Lao Tzu quote, right? So here we have an ancient Chinese philosopher that says, if his literal quote is, if you are depressed, yeah, you're living in the past. If you feel anxious, you're living in the future, and if you feel at peace, you're living in the present. And that is literally in my head the barometer of knowing where my mindset is in any given moment.
Hmm. Wow. That's crazy. That's awesome. No, and definitely like that. I think that one really connected with me just because growing up from like transitioning from like high school to college. So in college, I studied. Well, I studied percussion for quite some time. So I studied like drum set and all that. But then I also decided to do computer science, and so I've always felt like like trying to battle this balance between like logic and then like my feelings, you know. And so like as soon as you said tightrope, I'm like, wow, I really did sort of think of it like a scale, but you like just saying tightrope was like, oh yeah, it's not like this weight thing. It's just trying to get it right. You know, like I
That
really
so
connected with
so
that.
in order to have a tightrope,
Mm-hmm.
you have to have tension on both sides,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's what you really need to sort of remember with that illustration, is that if you think of if you're in a tug of war between your feelings and your values, on the surface you would think you just want your values to win, right? And so
Yeah.
that they're going to pull your feelings off balance.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, you don't want either side to win. You just want both that tension to be right there to keep that tightrope nice and tight, so you can actually travel between the two, between your values and your feelings. If you only made decisions based on your values and you ignored your feelings, you're never going to stay committed to that commitment, because our feelings are monsters and they have the power to overtake. I don't care what you think you value in your life. If you get mad enough, if you get upset enough, they will overtake any sense of value. And on the opposite side, if you make decisions solely based in your emotions, then there's a really good chance you might make a decision that violates one of those values. So you won't keep your commitment there either. And so the idea is you've got to keep this healthy tension between values and feelings, and it keeps that tightrope nice and tight so that you could walk it. If you've ever tried to do anything like that and there was any slack in the rope, you know you're not making it across that tightrope. You're going to fall every single time. So you've got to keep it nice and taut, and that's that healthy tension that exists between values and feelings.